Okay, Will, how is the team working in this new constellation?
So having the team working together like this is it's going pretty well so far. We have 4 of us working on shifts of 4 hours, so every 2 hours we'll change one person. And yeah, without Boris it's a little bit different. You know, we've got Jan replacing him, who's a really great sailor, super experienced. And it's a little bit Team France at the moment on board. We've got 3 French people, myself is English and Rosie who's Dutch, so a bit of French-English being spoken on board, but no, it's all going well. We get on super nice, we have a nice time on the boat, which is super important to make sure there's a good atmosphere for being competitive and pushing the boat fast.
Why are you 5th place? Is it a decision from the course?
Yeah, so being in 5th isn't obviously where we want to be, at the bottom of the scoreboard, but you know, we had a really tricky start to the race. There was quite light winds and we never really found our mode, but also it's a bit more tricky with our boat, we think, and it took us a few days to find the rhythm, so that put us back at the start. And now we've caught up a lot of miles. We're in a good position to be able to kind of pounce on the leaders, you know, to kind of jump on them. We're still in touch with the fleet, and now we're just looking for our moment to catch back those miles. It's, you know, it's a super hard score, super hard kind of field of competitors. They're all world-class sailors, and so it's not like, you know, if you make a mistake early on, it's not like you can just come back into the front group. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and you know, we're working really hard to try and get back up there. And it's about finding our moment. You know, there's 10 days of racing still. To think about that, it's more than half the leg still to go. So that's quite, you know, there's lots of opportunities that's going to be there, and we're just working out how to climb back up the rankings. So the reasons I think we are behind is because of this slow start at the beginning, but also, yeah, we do have a slightly maybe a slightly heavier boat than the others. It's not really adapted for these lighter flat water conditions. We're more built for the strong kind of wind and waves, which we had in leg 1 and what we'll probably see in leg 3. So our goal was just to kind of stay in contact with the fleet, and we're hoping in the next few days we're going to find an opportunity to be in the stronger wind and waves to catch back up a bit.
What exactly happened to the foil?
Yeah, so when I was just doing kind of a routine inspection yesterday on the foil, I was looking at the trailing edge, which is the back part of the foil. It's very thin, it's only about sort of 10 millimeters wide, and I noticed that there's been some cracking along it, probably due to the force of the bearing pushing against it under high load, maybe from when we're changing the foil rake, or changing, or just under normal sailing conditions, just the load is a bit too high for it. So now that we've kind of seen it, we just know that we need to be very cautious of it. It's still in perfectly usable condition, and we can still sail fine under it, but if we were to keep pushing it and adjusting it too much, we would probably end up breaking it more and not being able to use it. So, you know, the whole team knows to be very careful with it now. We need this foil a lot to stay in one piece to Cape Town, because almost the whole of the rest of the 3,500 miles to go is going to be on the starboard foil, which is the one that's damaged. And I'm not too worried about it now. At first it was a bit concerning to see it damaged. It's, you know, a new set of foils, and without this testing, you know, we end up with little problems like this while we're racing. But I think it's going to be okay. You know, we're working with our shore team to make sure it's going to be fine, and we don't think we need to make any major repairs yet. So the goal is to keep pushing, keep trying to sail the boat at 110%, and then you know, we see how it goes. We just keep monitoring it, and that's the best we can do for now. And we see how it turns up in Cape Town, but I'm not too worried at the moment.
So does it mean that you have to slow down even more?
So at the moment, the damage on the foil means we just can't make the adjustments we would like to. We have to keep it in one setting, and if we do want to make a big adjustment to it, we have to fully stop the boat and unload the foil, which is obviously slow. So it makes it a bit tricky, because, you know, foil is one of the main things we adjust. We adjust it like a sail. We're constantly trimming it on and off, depending on the wind strength, and especially since the wind is so up and down with the clouds out here, it means that we kind of lose that control of it. So we have to sail slightly more conservatively, but, you know, we can sail at 95% with it at least. So it's not gonna change the race for us. I don't think it's not gonna change anything. I think we can still push the boat just as much, and we don't have to slow down that much.
Are there any more problems with the boat right now?
So the only other things we've had is we, you know, in Cape Verde we noticed we had some chafe on some of the ropes, and some of them have got a little bit worse, but we've just got to keep an eye on it. If we break one of these ropes, it's for like the reef lines and things like this. We can repair it and fix it, but it's nothing too major. The only other thing we had was last night our engine generator, which we use for producing power when the solar isn't quite sufficient. It sheared off its hinges, a big piece of metal completely broke off, and we thought that could be quite bad because it means at night time when we're going very fast and the hydro generators don't produce the power, we have to use the engine, and that would mean we'd have to start switching off the electronics. The autopilot would be at risk of having to be switched off and having to hand steer. So it's nothing. We luckily managed to fix it very quickly, which is good. And no, apart from that, the boat is pretty much in 100% working order, which is the most important thing for being able to catch up. If you don't have a boat at 100%, then your chances of catching up become much slimmer, and you start having to use energy to try and make these repairs. And right now we're using most of our energy on the performance of the boat, so that's good. We can only kind of guess what other problems the other boats are having, and you know, we have to just kind of see how we go, and there's still a long way to Cape Town.